Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, the 15th of September and Friday, the 16th of September, 2016. Hope you had a good trading session. We certainly did here. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, as you should look at the market. You can see, again, the 13 sell signal from last Wednesday led to the drop on Friday, and we're pretty much at the closing lows since then on the S&P. NASDAQ side is doing a little better. We'll look at that in a minute. Look at the volume on the futures here today. We do feel like we got sort of an options unraveling move, even if it wasn't a huge one. We'll talk about that when we look at the intraday action here in a moment. Let's start by going through the usual charts that we go through. Crude oil closed at 43.58. That's down another $1.32. Coming back into the low 40s, heading towards that red static trend line that's around 41.25. Gold up $2.30. S&P cash closed down at 1.25, so really nothing for the day. NASDAQ side, the NDX 100 was actually up 23, which is interesting, so it's a little bit stronger. It's still under the 10 EMA. The stocks was up 7. Biotechs were up 33. And does that give us, let me see something here, projection mode. Does not quite get us yet the 13 sell signal on the biotechs, but it could be coming soon there. The VIX was up 29 cents to 18.14. Trend closed at 1.65, the 10-day now up to 1.25. So much for that low 10-day moving average we were looking for. NASDAQ volume 1.73 billion. That's the lightest since, between Friday's big plunge and then Monday, Tuesday. It's the lightest over the last 4 days, but it's still good. It's decent. That's why things are moving and working. We had a nice futures winner overall. So advanced decline ratio, literally 20 stocks more 20 stocks were down than up on the NASDAQ, so negative 20 on the advanced decline ratio, negative 146 on the S&P, or the broad market, the New York. So keep in mind that even though the NASDAQ was up and the stocks was up and the biotechs were up, we didn't have good market breadth. Google was up $1.74, which is chump change for Google. Amazon was up, Apple was up 382. That's a big move for Apple, taking it back near the highs of the year, really. It's still in a narrow range, but it's almost the highest closing high this year. If you go back to January, it was right around this year in April, right around tax day. It sold off after that. Amazon up 8 cents. That's also a blip. Netflix up 92 cents. All right, let's take a quick look at the intraday action. So, again, each day's been getting a little narrower since the big move down. So we had the big, let's go back. Let's have the gap down and the move down on Friday, the small gap down and the recovery on Monday back to Friday's open. Tuesday we gapped down and headed lower, but we were inside of Monday's action. And then here today, basically a flat opening. We tried to head up. We topped out an hour in, and then we spent the whole day inside the range basically of the prior day. So a narrower day again here. Now, what you see is the top of the market on Tuesday or Wednesday here today was 1 hour in, and that's when we start to look at, the options unraveling move. So it usually happens on Wednesday or Thursday of expiration week. With triple expiration, it's usually a little bit bigger than a non-triple expiration, a single expiration. And what happens is after the first hour's play, they usually come in, they start winding down those positions, and that can take the market one way or the other from that point. In this case, that was the exact high of the day. So we rolled over, and the rest of the day was to the downside, and we closed near the lows. That's what you would expect from an options unravel. Volume wasn't super heavy on it, so we didn't maybe get as big of a move. I mean, like I said, keep in mind we stayed inside the prior day's action. The other thing that's interesting about it, so the NASDAQ side looks a little different for the first time in a while. Moved up here early, did top out at the same time, but it was dead flat for another couple hours, and then it never came back near the lows. So you definitely see the NASDAQ side was stronger, led by Apple, of course, up 3 and change. But, overall, who knows? So do we get the options unravel? Probably. Does that mean that the big excitement's done for the week? I don't know, but here's the thing. There's more data coming out tomorrow morning than you usually get on any single day. So let's look at it. At 8:30 a.m., an hour before the market opens, initial and continuing jobless claims, that's the weekly number. Retail sales for August, PPI, it's one of the inflationary numbers. Philly Fed, which used to come out at 10, now it comes out at 8:30. Current account balances, Empire Manufacturing. That's all an hour before the bell. Industrial production and capacity utilization, 15 minutes before the bell. Business inventories, 30 minutes in, and natty gas, an hour in. And since we don't do these market previews for Friday, especially on options expiration week, because Friday will be probably pretty dead, you get a lot of volume going nowhere because they're closing out those options. Friday we have CPI, which is one of our big inflationary numbers, an hour before the bell. Michigan sentiment 30 minutes in, and then net long-term tick flows at the close. So a lot of data for Thursday. And the interesting thing is it enough data all at once that it does something in terms of a gap? And now that a lot of these options have been unraveled, remember, this is that window where there's less protection on the market for the big players than normal, and they probably won't pick it back up till Monday. So that leaves a hole in the market potentially. So, the setup we have right now, if we start to head down, this could get ugly. So just be aware of that. And if it doesn't go down and just heads flat or even up, I don't think you're going to get a big move out of it. But on the downside, you could, and you definitely want to be involved between here and Friday. And then, of course, if we close down sharply Thursday and Friday for some reason, then it's open season on Monday because there's no options, relatively little options protection over the weekend. And that's when crashes happen. Not that I'm saying this is going to be a crash. Again, I think you go back and you look at the ES daily chart here, and you recognize this red line here. That's the static trend line at 2060 or so. And, that would be the target of the 13 sell signal. And even if we went lower than that, maybe dip down to the June, July lows. But keep in mind, the markets typically bottom early October. So we still got a couple weeks left till that. Is this just the beginning of something bigger? It's just that time of year. And this is just when these things happen. Doesn't mean there's anything systematically wrong or systemically wrong. But we'll certainly be on our toes and look for some excitement Thursday. Probably less chance of it Friday unless it's just a complete meltdown. If you don't get a meltdown, I wouldn't expect Friday to be much at all. I don't think you're going to get a big run up for sure. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal 12. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. It's been a good trading week. We told you to come back after Labor Day. It's been awesome. Let's go.